Hello and welcome back to Granted Gardens. Today we're shooting multiple videos today because last week was just insane and we're running a little behind. So just excuse the way I look. We're just gonna get some stuff done. So today on my to-do list is to get this greenhouse cleaned out. So for those of you that have a greenhouse, I'm sure that you can relate to the concept of what the greenhouse goes through in the winter. Late fall, once things have completely died back, you've got a lot of things like pots and garden tools and posts and all kinds of stuff that you no longer need or need to put away for the winter. And essentially we used to put all of that in our shed. However, our shed has filled up. And we also have a lawnmower coming from Tyler's parents next week. So we need to make space for that lawnmower to go in. Also, we've got a ton of plants downstairs that need to start hardening off for us to be able to plant them here very, very soon outside. And the best place that I have discovered for them to harden off is obviously this greenhouse. However, at the end of the season last year, we kind of used the greenhouse as a storage space. And so we've got a lot of work ahead of us to get this functional in order for us to move the plants outside. So I'll give you a quick peek of just what kind of work we're looking at. So this is our greenhouse. This greenhouse was actually gifted to us by our neighbors across the street 2 years ago, I believe now. And it is absolutely amazing. It was such a blessing to receive. But we have to get it up and running like now. Last year was the first year that I was able to utilize the greenhouse to put our plants out while we were hardening them off. And if you're not familiar with that term, hardening off plants, the idea behind it is that we start all of our plants from seed, and we have a grow station in the basement. We've put videos up about that. And so we start everything from seed. However, about a week or so before you plant stuff outside, you need to bring them up to temperature. You need to get them used to the temperature outside and the fluctuations before you just go planting them in the ground. If you bring them right from inside your house to the ground, it's going to be a major shock. So essentially what you want to do is we start about 7 days before we're going to plant outside. And the first day we'll put all of the plants out for 2 hours. And then the next day we'll put them all out for 4 hours. And then the next day we'll put them out for 6, and we kind of build up until they're sitting completely outside all day and all night for at least a couple to few days before you plant them out in the ground. However, every single night at that point, up until that last bit, we're bringing them back inside so that they can kind of regulate themselves to the outdoor temperatures. Good heavens. So the greenhouse actually makes this a lot easier to do because instead of having to go the full 7 days of bringing them inside and outside, we'll actually just go the first few days of bringing them inside and outside. We'll put them out for a couple hours and we'll take them back into the basement. But on about day 3 or 4, we'll stop putting them in the house entirely. We'll just set them out in the yard for their designated amount of time, and then we'll put them in the greenhouse overnight. This makes things so much easier because it's less hassle to be going in and out of the door and carrying it through the house. Plus we don't have to run the lights on the grow station. They'll be fine just in here. Now I'm also planning on holding kind of like a farm stand out front of our house. I think at least once a month over the summer to sell off some of the stuff that we grow, some of our vegetables, and then to also sell off some of these just excess of gardening tools and supplies that we have that we no longer use anymore. We love to grow in pots, especially up on the deck, but we actually obtained some vertical tower gardens this year that we're going to be utilizing. So I think that's really going to cut back on the amount of pots that we need. So I'm also going to just try and go through here and make piles of stuff that we can get rid of. Side note, pro tip, we use red Solo cups a lot for our plants when we're up potting and such. We left all of our red Solo cups in the greenhouse over the winter, and they are just completely disintegrating. So if this is a tool that you usually use for gardening, don't keep them in the greenhouse. I think it just gets, the temperatures change too much and they fall apart. I have this pile over here of Chinese noodle beans and okra that I wanted to dry and save for seed this year. So I put them in the greenhouse and that actually worked out well. These are all super dry. It's gonna be really easy to get seeds out of these. All right, much better. I think I'm gonna leave the doors open for the day, see if we can let that dry out a little bit on the floor. We are back in business. Well, that's a wrap for today. We got the greenhouse cleaned out. Now it's just time to start getting plants out here. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we look forward to sharing more with you soon.